Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I'm going to start with this that was on Squawk Box this morning. Mike Novogratz, who is an admitted investor in Ripple, like an early investor in Ripple, also the same guy who has not been willing to say the words Ripple or XRP unless you specifically ask him for the last couple of years, all of a sudden wants to talk about Ripple and XRP. Now, I've learned a lot of things in life. The things that people don't want to talk about are the things they're threatened by. And that's what I've always felt about this, because he's a Bitcoin maxi to the core. But I've always felt like the reason he didn't want to talk about it is because he knew, and he does know, that XRP, Bitcoin's not even in the realm of XRP when it comes to the technology. He knows that Bitcoin can only be a store of value because it's dinosaur technology. It's not fast. It's not scalable. Proof of work doesn't work, like Ron Zagone said, period. And so he hasn't been willing to say Ripple and XRP until the threat has been, in my opinion, temporarily removed through this SEC lawsuit. I think this is very telling that all of a sudden he wants to talk about Ripple and XRP.
All this, uniquely is happening against the backdrop of, oddly enough, more regulation when it comes to Bitcoin. The comment period for these private wallets that the Treasury Secretary, before he leaves, is trying to regulate. How do you sort of square both of those items?
For institutions, that story is a good one, right? Most of the regulation that's been thrown out, both by Secretary Mnuchin and by the SEC going after, Ripple and XRP, doesn't really pertain to Bitcoin. It pertains to the decentralized finance world more. To stable coins, to replacing the.
Why does it not apply to Bitcoin? I'm confused.
Dollar with a digital version of the dollar, but Bitcoin kind of gets a free pass, and so
why does Bitcoin get a free pass? Somebody explain that to me.
Institutions like hearing that it's becoming more institutional, that regulators are okay with it, and so
I don't think Bitcoin gets a free pass at all. I think he thinks it gets a free pass.
Ironically, this has all been pro-Bitcoin, but maybe negative the crypto space. Ethereum decided it didn't care. Like, I thought this would have, the regulation would have hurt the Ethereum ecosystem a little bit more because stable coins are built on top of Ethereum. It's just, there's that much momentum. I think what it tells you is Chairman Powell is dominating all markets all around the world. And as long as there's this idea that money is free forever and we're going to keep printing it, every dream, every story can get extrapolated to crazy valuation. And that's what look at Tesla. It's going to go up again and again. At one point, gravity comes back, but I don't know if gravity comes back until we get some shift in, the Fed. And that doesn't seem like we're even close.
We will.
I agree with him that money should flow. Even to Bitcoin, money should flow to Bitcoin because of all the money printing, but it should also flow to XRP. I think I smell a mega rat. I'm not talking about him. I smell a rat in a much bigger picture. I think that this is all done intentionally to help Bitcoin because XRP was seen as a real threat. That's what I think. And I think these guys I think he's always been terrified of XRP, and that's why he won't talk about it. Now, remember, Mike Novogratz, he owns Galaxy Fund Management. He has a fund as of September, which was before the SEC lawsuit, that has 12% XRP in it. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see what he does going forward. Now, I tweeted this out. CoinDesk put out an article today. Ukraine's government has chosen Stellar to help build the infrastructure for a central bank digital currency CBDC. And I said, nice choice. The brother sister of XRP. You should know by now. XRP and XLM aren't going anywhere. That's what I was saying there. Now, I tweeted this out this morning. Lawsuit dip bought. I did buy the dip this morning, and I plan on buying more of the dip. But that was just what I did this morning. Okay, Flare is growing. This is from Flare Networks. Flare is growing. We are very glad to announce that Ilan Doran has joined Flare as lead smart contract engineer. Okay, and then I wanted to show you something a lot of you may not be aware of. Poloniex, which I think it used to be in the U.S., but I think it's out of Malta now. They have begun trading the Spark IOU. Let me do a refresh here. IOUs on the Spark token before everybody actually gets them in possession. Right now, it's trading at almost 3 cents. So just, I guess as an example, if you owned 1 million XRP, yours would be worth, your Flare right now would be worth almost $30,000. Okay. So that's just a little bit of a guide. Who knows? That thing, when it really comes out, it could go up or down. Who knows? Nobody knows. I'm assuming it's going to go up over time. Okay. Here's an interesting tweet. The big reset. The current events pandemic has provided a unique opportunity to think about the kind of future we want. Time and the World Economic Forum ask leading thinkers to share ideas for how to transform the way we live and work. And this is Time Magazine, The Great Reset. And then it's got all these different people that they talk to in this about what their different thoughts are for a post-current events world. And I use the word, by the way, current events, because in the past we haven't been allowed to say the name of this thing or we would get strikes on our channel, which is absolutely ludicrous to me, but it is what it is. Okay. It's pretty creepy, actually, is more the word. But as you go down, it's got all these different people like this, lady from the IMF weighing in on it. The one that I wanted to draw your attention to, first of all, I wanted to draw your attention to who their partnership with is Sampo Holdings. That is a Japanese company. Now, in the midst of all this, the XRP lawsuit and all this, remember, who owns 10.5% of Ripple? SBI Holdings, which is out of Japan. This great reset is sponsored by, in partnership with Sampo Holdings. That's a Japanese company. Okay. And then they've got this guy from Sampo Holdings that's weighing in. And then they've got the Tokyo governor, Yuriko Koike. I don't know how you say that, weighing in how, the 2021 Olympics will be different from every other games. This reminded me of something when I saw this. I said, you know what this reminds me of? It's a good time to point out for those of you that are freaked out that XRP and what's going on in the United States. It's a good thing to remind you. This was an interview that Thinking Crypto did with Adam Trademan, who's the CEO of SBI Ripple Asia. Listen to what he said about how what SBI is working on with XRP.
SBI is literally Ripple's biggest fan. Like, Kitao-san is trying to make XRP and Ripple successful everywhere. Let me give you an example that'll seem crazy to you, but it's actually true. So there's going to be the next World's Fair. Can you imagine they still have these things? World's Fair is going to be in Osaka in like 2025, something like that. I don't remember.
Wow, they still have those? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what I said, right? It's going, if he gets his way, the CEO of SBI, it's going to be, if you go there and you want to buy anything from Coca-Cola to a hamburger, it's going to take XRP. You can only pay an XRP. That's what we're working towards. Okay? Wow. That's just one little example, right?
So anyway, I just wanted to show you that clip just as a reminder. Okay, Esoteric XRP sent me this yesterday. This was is a thread on Twitter. For those of you that weren't around, this guy, Tony Valentino, is one of the 5 or 6 people that has been on Twitter or on Steemit over the last 2 or 3 years who was saying things that sounded like they might know something. Okay. And they all disappeared. They're no longer on Twitter. Well, this popped up. This is from September of 2019. I don't know where they found this, but when I first clicked on it, it had been deleted. And then somebody either put it back up or found another place to find it. Well, anyway, I wanted to read a little bit of it for you. Okay. We want to go down to here. Do you think The Bank of England's Governor Mark Carney calling for a Libra-like digital currency to replace the US dollar was just some uncalculated talk. Do you think Brad Garlinghouse meeting with central banks in Switzerland was for nothing? XRP is loved by the IMF BIS. This is no coincidence. Ripple has been captured since 2014. Their goals have been directed by hidden hands. Their team boosted and filled with hidden hands. What you see is just the surface. This is no longer a speculative asset as it were back in 2015 and 2016. Things are clear. The tech Ripple offers and provides cannot be matched by any other today. Interledger protocol is game changer. This allows trade to be conducted using any currency or asset. This links up the financial world. ILP is like veins to a body, and XRP is its blood. Actually, Brad Garlinghouse in a video said that XRP was the heartbeat of Ripple. We are entering a brand new world. We won't recognize it when the dust settles. Changes are coming. We have to wait for negotiations to complete. In life, we cannot be certain about much, but I've never been more certain of XRP becoming the world digital reserve asset. Its value may seem low today. That's not because the insiders, banks, institutions don't know about it. The biggest players have purchased their shares via OTC, so you and I don't see their moves. It is the 99% who will come flooding in when the word is released. They can keep value low until negotiations are complete, and then Trump will sign an executive order or the UN will make a move first if this negotiation takes too long. After that, it's a matter of flipping a switch, and everyone can access XRP liquidity without knowing. Everything is falling into place. A few years back, we were laughed and mocked at for laying out the plans, but now we know even the central banks are calling for a new world currency to replace the US dollar dominance. There's no stopping this. The die is cast. Since most of the countries cannot afford to be on gold-backed currency, and we won't have another sovereign currency backed by gold to rule them all, what we see is a gold-valued XRP coming to rule them all. This will be the anchor to which every currency values against. Speaking of gold-valued XRP, we see the lender of last resort, the IMF, taking control of the XRP escrow. Ripple is too small to be so big to handle this by themselves. The doors have been unlocked for Ripple. They have been invited into the houses of power. Some ask, why would Ripple hand over 50 billion XRP to someone else free of charge? Ripple is a software company. They sell software. It's a matter of convenience. The world powers help them, and they help the world powers. Their personal XRP holdings are incentive to hand it over. Some say Ripple are scammers or XRP is a scam. How blinded by hatred are these people? Just look at who Ripple hires and work with. That alone would tell you more than you need to know. There's no alternatives. We will move away from the USD standard to the XRP standard. And I want to bring your attention back to something. At the beginning of this video, I showed you this. Okay? Ukraine's government has chosen Stellar to help build the infrastructure for a central bank digital currency. The question is this. Do you think, because look, when XRP goes down, Stellar typically goes down with it. Do you think for a minute that these governments around the world are building off of these digital currencies and making decisions to do these things, thinking that something the U.S. government is doing is going to somehow harm them? No way, no how, not in a million years. Now, do I know exactly what he's talking about here? Do I know anything that this guy happens to know behind the scenes? I don't know. I don't know if he's 1,000% correct in all this. But what I do know is that I've seen this kind of talk coming from enough different directions from people who seem to know what's going on. And I've seen it over and over and over, and then they disappear. Okay? And a lot of it makes sense in a world that doesn't make sense a lot of times. And then J.C. Collins, now this was referenced in that write-up I just read to you. J.C. Collins says, you know it's coming. This digital monetary architecture is going to change the world. And then he's retweeting this. Carney called a synthetic hegemonic currency supported by the world's central banks could reduce reliance on the U.S. dollar. And he said, dampen the domineering influence of the U.S. dollar on global trade. He said that when he was in Jackson Hole back in August of 2019. Now, CryptoDim sent me this, and this is a tweet. Are you sure you know what you hodl? Facts. Spark airdrop announced. 2, XRP soars. 3, airdrop wildly successful. 4, whales now want into XRP DeFi. 5, whales don't want to pay $1 plus. 6, SEC drops suit. 7, FUD cycle begins. 8, price crashes. 8, whales buy, including the digital asset investor bought too. I'm not saying I'm a whale. I'm just saying I bought with the whales. 1, SEC settles quickly. 2, XRP's price spikes. Whales profit 100 times. Makes sense to me. Don't forget, this is Allison J. Kershaw. Don't forget, the SEC also runs a validator node on XRPL. This is a pre-planned showcase lawsuit where the outcome between Ripple and the SEC has already been agreed. It's just an excuse to force in legislation for the use of cryptocurrency in the U.S. It's a plan 8 years in the making. This little write-up makes a lot of sense to me. I'm not saying this is fact. I'm just saying what she wrote here makes a lot of sense to me, and she is not wrong about the SEC running a node. Why would the SEC decide to run a Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP node, then turn around after 8 years of Ripple working with them and slap a lawsuit on them unless there was a design to it? It's the only thing that makes any sense to me. Michelle Vandenberg sent me this. Now, look, let me make a caveat here. It is the only thing that makes any sense to me. But until we see that our gut is right on that and that this is some sort of a plan, we have to proceed as if it's not. And so that's when I'm telling you to contact your congressman and all that, we should do it because we can't make assumptions. We're going to do everything we can to get the right decision made. And anything that we can do as YouTubers and people in social media, we should do it. Michelle Vandenberg, the biggest wealth transfer in history is now in motion. It will accelerate when central banks start to roll out digital currencies. Mark my words. Now, I told you in a video the other day that out of this thing, you will see, I called him the man on the white horse, or it could be the woman on the white horse. But it's symbolic of someone that is going to take charge and that's going to be a leader. I said you would see several of them, and I mentioned Greg Kidd, and I mentioned that Brad Garlinghouse has an opportunity to be a man on a white horse. All of the women in this business, all the women in blockchain, there's an opportunity for there to be a woman on a white horse. Leaders are going to emerge. Well, we've just spotted one of the leaders. His name is John Deaton. John Deaton is a lawyer who has just filed suit against the SEC. And he tweeted this out, and you should retweet it. Bob, you interviewed Jay Clayton of SEC. I filed a writ of mandamus, I guess is how you say it, in federal court regarding his actions against XRP. I cite to an interview interview you did of him when you pushed back at his answer about XRP. You are best journalist on this. And then I saw this and I retweeted it and I said, hey, Julia Chatterley, Maria Bartiromo, you need to have John Deaton on to explain his lawsuit against the SEC for suing Ripple. They openly worked with Jay Clayton and multiple regulators, including the SEC, for over 7 years prior to this lawsuit being filed. So hopefully we can get John Deaton some exposure. So go and retweet his tweet and retweet mine and let's see if we can help him out. Now, John Deaton was on the On the Chain live show. You should subscribe to give them a subscribe. I'm subscribed, but again, I'm not signed in right now. Okay, but I am subscribed to them. You should give them a subscribe. They did a great interview with this John Deaton guy. I'm going to play for you a part of what he said starting right here.
But I want to take that and expand on that point to the idea of the security. What do you think happens if it is declared a security in the U.S., it keeps trading outside the U.S., what is the rights of the holders in the U.S. to continue trading in something that's now classified as a security, even though it's being traded outside the U.S.? Are you allowed to continue holding? Are you forced to sell? I mean, it has so much ramification, and right. There's so many unknowns that, it's difficult to kind of navigate that.
Yeah, well, I think that one, I ultimately don't think it's going to be deemed a security, because a lot of people, when they read my pleadings, they may have thought that I engaged a little bit, sort of in some hyperbolic statements where I say the most significant SEC enforcement action in modern history. That's not hyperbolic. That's a fact. Okay. When you're talking about, when you go to the G20 in November and you've got the president of China, you've got Vladimir Putin, you've got all of these countries, you got Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary of the United States, coming back on CNBC. And the first thing he says that was discussed at the G20 summit was cryptocurrency. Okay. When you have cryptocurrencies being traded for 7 years, when you have Bitcoin now, being considered the greatest store of value ever created, and you have institutions putting it on their Treasury reserve sheet, such as Square or MicroStrategy, when you have this happening in this area, knowing absolutely that CBDCs is the hottest topic in the world today as far as digital currency, that that they're going to say that the XRP that we're exchanging is in fact a security. I don't think, but let's say hypothetically, the SEC goes to it, gets a jury trial, and a jury comes back and says it's a security. There would be an appeal to the Supreme Court eventually of the United States, and then Howey test would be revisited and all of that. I really don't see it happening. Is it possible it happens? But the whole purpose of the writ of mandamus was saying, there have been some comments that say, hey, just sit back, and wait. And then when it's not declared a security, it'll skyrocket and all of this. If XRP is right now, that just by the mere claim by the SEC that's a security, what has happened? It's being delisted. It's being suspended in all trading in the United States. So whether XRP is at 20 cents or $20, it sits in my wallet or your wallet or anyone else's wallet, and there's nothing we can do with it. I can't trade it in the United States. I mean, do I go to Japan and try to change there? I don't know. And so I just don't see how, when the other G20, G7 countries, Japan, United Kingdom, UAE, Switzerland, when they're all saying this is not a security, how the United States then turns around and does it. So I don't have the answer that if the Supreme Court comes down and says it's a security, which I don't ever see happening, and that would be probably 4 or 5 years from now. But hypothetically, it basically would cause us to have an asset that's untradeable. And if it's untradeable in the United States, I don't care if it says 100 on a ticker symbol or 1,000 or 10 cents. It's useless to me. And so that's why we have to have answers now.
Got it.
Okay. Then I wanted to remind you that we're on this petition, which the link to this petition is in the top of the description of my video. But if you look, we are now at almost 27,000 signatures. We're going to get 100,000. We need 73,000 more by January 28th, which means that you need to get all your family members to come in and sign this thing. The link's in the description of my video. Also, this link so that you can find your congressman and let them know about about what your feelings are on the SEC lawsuit. My understanding is there's a letter that's going to be going around, like a form letter that people can send as well. I haven't seen it yet. I think it was sent to me, but I haven't looked at it yet. Okay, and I don't know what I'm looking. Oh, this was Galaxy's website. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that they need to go and sign the petition and go write their congressman and call their congressman too about this SEC lawsuit. Thanks for listening.